Hello, good morning. I got the whole. Howdy. Thanks for having us here. We're very excited to take a few minutes to talk about community exhibitions. My name is Robert Treat. I am a major contributor to the Postgres project, and I've been working with Postgres now for well over 20 years.
My name is Wong. I've been around for a while also, I think about 20 plus years and doing various things.
Mark and I both met actually through Postgres conferences, more than 20 years back, and we noticed this networking effect that was going on in sort of the very early days of open source. And the Postgres community really sort of thrived with that model because of the nature of Postgres, and anyone could take it and do anything they wanted with it. There were many different companies and many different communities that tried to work with Postgres. But we also noticed that many of the other projects that we saw in open source usually had some company behind it, right? And the same thing with database software. There was usually a very large company with a very big marketing arm that was behind those database software and could go out and try to find new users. We didn't have any of that as Postgres, right? We were sort of small and scrappy. But what we thought we could do is if we could get together and do some planning and budgeting and getting a bunch of volunteers, we would have the capability to actually go out and meet new people and grow our community. This is a very old photo. I'm actually in the middle of this thing, and I think actually Chris Travers is opposite of me there in the back. So many of these folks are not actually still in the community, or they're in different parts of the community, but we've been going strong in this now for a very long time.
Questions that we think you might have is, what are these communities that we're talking about? What does this networking really involve? How much planning really goes into being able to do this? And how much money does it even cost to make this happen? And hopefully we're hoping you're also wondering how you can also get involved. So some of the communities that we've been reaching out to, mostly around North America at this point, and some parts of Europe, things like Python community. We've been to some general open source events like Scale and All Things Open. Some of these, we know that there are more conferences around the world, in Asia and other places that we can't reach, so we're hoping to get to more. Then part of the things that we also provide or try to put together is swag, stuff we all get. So to show a picture of some of these things, you may see some hats, some hoodies, some stickers, little stress balls, and t-shirts. Robert is modeling for you. Sometimes we have umbrellas, enamel pins and mugs, and we're hoping to try to have the interesting things for people to remember us by.
So how does this all come together? You may be wondering, how do we make this work? Definitely a shoestring budget with very little time. Well, the short answer is logistics. Lots of logistics and planning.
So with all the things that we have to put together is creating displays, banners for our spot in the exhibit hall, table cover, the outfits, uniforms that we try to provide for the volunteers that help staff the booth and answer questions for folks, and also providing information such as flyers for people who are new to Postgres, for people who are looking for more information, who might be familiar already looking for more information, looking for even more birds and feather people with the same mind, find a meetup, finding more Postgres events, and perhaps finding opportunities to grow the community themselves. So this is a picture of what the booth looks like. We have a banner, Postgres logo, some displays of the artwork, and Dave Kramer on the left side is wearing full uniform of a hat, hoodie, and t-shirt.
And even if you don't have all the merch, we still definitely appreciate when folks can volunteer. But then you can see there's some stickers on the table we're trying to give away and just sort of let people know. This was actually the Java conference, I think, a year or two ago. This photo was taken. Dave is the JDBC maintainer, so it's a good one to send him to. So other things that are involved in this, I mean, it is just like if you've ever worked with your company or if you've ever gone to a trade show, there isn't, usually there would be a marketing department who would do the design and all this text and all that. There is all the logistics of emails back and forth, getting with the organizers. Again, because we don't have much money as volunteers, we usually try to find events that will allow us to have a little bit of space, for a reduced price, or if they'll give it to us for free, obviously that's better. But just staying in touch with those people and all the emails back and forth and schedules and all that kind of thing, figuring out if we have to ship stuff, doing booth kits. Can somebody who is maybe going to the conference take a package on the plane as their with their suitcase? It really gets to that level of trying to coordinate all this on the shoestring budget. Speaking of budgeting. So, obviously there's a cost of all of these things, right? We can't really pay the volunteers. We can get them t-shirts, right? Maybe we can get them hats. So we try to give them something for them to remember, but there's definitely other costs. If they have to fly to a place or stay in a hotel overnight, obviously many conferences are multiple nights, they sort of usually have to figure out how their schedule is going to work between their main job and other responsibilities they may have. But we want to try to cover things like meals and registration so they don't have to put that out of pocket. Shipping booth kits is really expensive. Printing can also be pretty expensive as well for all the flyers and whatnot. And we've tried to reduce that footprint of paper that we print out and have QR codes and find information online. But people still do like to get at least something that they can put in their hand and put in their bag at the conference. So how do we pay for all this? There are a number of Postgres nonprofits. You may have heard many organizations or many software projects have like one main organization that controls things. In Postgres, because we just like to do it this way, we have a bunch of different organizations all over the world that help fund some of these different activities. Probably the primary one that Mark and I work with, we work with the Postgres Funds Group, where I work with Mark for a lot of these things. Mark is also in U.S. Postgres Association, where I think it works back the other way, with me volunteering and him paying on that side. And of course, Postgres EU in Europe, and other sort of nonprofits where we can get them to work with us. And let's not forget volunteers. Volunteers is actually one of the hardest things, again, because we can't pay people for their time, right? They have to figure out a way to make that work. I think for you, there's been times when in your career, I know it's for me as well, where our jobs, right, our employers have been very generous in allowing us to go to conferences and do this kind of work, but that is not always the case, for sure. So the other part that I think we don't talk about with volunteers isn't just the time at the event. It is, again, that logistics time of planning. So Mark and I are definitely in contact, if not every day, but at least once a week, talking about some future upcoming conference that we have to coordinate with and trying to find somebody local. That's also a big part of it, is to find somebody who is local who can help explain what it's going to look like for people who are arriving in that city, working in that hotel, or wherever the event space is going to be. And again, handling shipping and boxes and printing, and how do we get the money to that person so they can pay for that stuff, as well as coming up with swag ideas.
So we're hoping that folks are here might be interested in doing some of the same activities in all across Asia and China. Robert and I are going to be around for the rest of the conference. Please come talk to us if you have questions, and we'd like to help support this kind of activity all over the world. Thank you.
I like that too.